Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Let's call this meeting to order. Thank you for joining us today. Shall we proceed with attendance?
Yes, roll call.
David Elliott,
Here.
Dennis Barnum,
Present.
Enrique Perez,
Here.
Robert Tucker,
Here.
and Daisy Campos.
Here.
Thank you.
We can proceed to the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join me. Ready? Begin.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do we have any public comments today?
No.
So we can proceed to look at the consent calendar. If we have anything to discuss, but if we have a motion to approve.
I so move.
Thank you,
Second.
Bob. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item here, we have.
And if we can do a vote on
Okay,
that.
sure. Go ahead. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone who opposes? Thank you, so approved. Do we need to go over Senate Bill 343? Deborah, can we just move on
We could
to?
move on.
Okay, great. So we can move on to business calendar. Item number 2 is to renew the memorandum of understanding with required WIOA partners.
So move.
Thank you, Bob. So moved. Second, thank you so much. Do we have discussion for this, Deborah?
Yes, so it's that season that we need to renew our MOUs with our 9 or 12 mandated partners. Both of those that are co-located here, as well as partners that are physically co-located. So like we have one with Rancho Santiago and Centennial Education. So we primarily work with EDD and a few other nonprofits. Last year we approved this. It was for 1 year. This one's going to be for 2 years, so that we can now be back in sync with state's requirement of every 3 years. The reason why last year was 1 year is because our lease expires in 4 weeks come June. And the city attorney did not want us to have an MOU beyond the term of our lease because the MOU reflects the cost of operations. Not knowing what the lease terms were yet, he advised not to go beyond the lease agreement. So last year was an exercise of government work. So this will be good for 2 years, and then we'll come back 2 years from now for it. So this is to recommend for us to approve it, and it's going to city council. It's on city council's agenda for June 6th for them to do the same.
Do we have a motion to approve or any further? Motion to approve?
Aye.
All those in favor to approve this item, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone to oppose? Thank you. It's approved. Moving on to item number 3, the ranking of youth provider request for proposal for the program year 2023 through 2027.
I move approval.
All those for approval. Anyone opposing? Second.
I'll second it.
Thank you so much. So it's approved. We can move on to
If
any
we can have a
discussion.
vote, we just have to have a
I'm
formal.
sorry, all of those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone who opposes? Thank you, so approved. To item number 4 is to adopt an incumbent worker policy. Do you have discussion for that or any comments?
We're gonna get first and a second.
Okay, we'll move on. All those in favor? Your motion to approve?
I'll second.
Second, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposes?
No
No
opposed.
opposes, so approved. Thank you so
So
much.
this incumbent worker policy will allow Carlos and his team to work with employers who have employees that need some training. And we'll bring in and do training of those existing workforce. And as they move up or promote in the organization, we will then backfill it with more entry-level skills in order to help move people through an organization and make room for the less skilled.
And this is incumbent workers here. So
Incumbent workers for businesses
For
throughout
businesses
the
local.
Orange County area. So we didn't have a policy. We could spend up to $100,000 of our rapid response and adult and dislocated worker if we have an incumbent worker policy.
Okay.
So this will allow us, this in essence waives the WIOA requirements, because if you're working, you typically are not going to qualify for the WIOA grant. And so this allows us to work with the employer to select and hire a training entity to train those existing workers, move them up, and then we'll work to backfill it with hopefully WIOA eligible individuals
Can you define incumbent worker for me?
I understand there's a worker that's already employed with that company.
Okay.
So they're trying to upskill.
There you go. Trying to do an upskill.
Move them up
Move
so you
them up.
get entry level.
Right.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
We're on to item number 5, local area subsequent designation and local board recertification for the program year 2023 through 2025. Do I have a motion to approve? Thank you. Do I have a second? Okay, let's take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Anyone opposes? So approved. That is the end of the business calendar. Any additional comments from anyone?
I have no comments.
The OWA.
Older worker?
No, the item that was being worked on with the 3 workforce boards, Workers Alliance.
Right.
Any update on that? Or-
The website and. or
Because I
original
haven't,
plan.
since Karma left, I haven't heard anything regarding the worker alliance, the workers alliance.
There were a
Between
couple- there were a couple of meetings. and
between the 3 workforce
A lot of
boards.
discussion. They inadvertently left out the union.
We're
part.
talking about the plan.
Yeah,
So-
the plan.
Yeah, and so that was fixed.
Oh,
Is that called the Workforce Alliance?
We've been calling the 3 workforce boards the Orange Regional Plan Unit. And we've now branded it as the Orange Workforce Alliance, OWA.
There was a discussion on that to come up with that.
So we have a branding as the 3 boards as the Orange Workforce Alliance, and there's a website, and I can send the link out that has a lot of data on there as well. Labor market data, as well as links that can connect those looking for work to respective one-stops. With the hopes of continuing to brand it, that employers may think of it as a place to look at for labor market information and resources available to train their workforce.
What's, every day I get job postings.
That's part of the Orange Workforce
Okay,
Alliance.
I just want to clarify that. I don't mind that at all.
Right.
But I just want to clarify where that was coming from.
Right, so the Orange County Workforce Board has been the primary labor of that because they have much more resources than we do on staffing. And so they send out those blasts. I think they're trying to do it once or twice a day now instead of every time they receive them. And kind of
Yeah,
pull
I
them
think I only
together.
get like once a day, but it could be 2, 3 opportunities that.
Right.
Or more, whatever.
Right, so I don't know if you had heard Karma Lacy resigned from the County of Orange as the workforce director. They haven't named an interim. Her boss, Renee, is acting right now. She does plan to recruit. So in the next year, we'll probably get a new replacement for Karma. And then Francis Barton was Karma's right-hand person. He'll probably pick up a lot of the duties and collaborate with us more, but right now he is frantically working on the move. The County of Orange is closing their Garden Grove One-Stop Center and moving it to Brea. And so they hope to open that July 5th. So there's a lot of things, moving parts that they're working on right now. They say Brea is a demand area.
Versus
Special
Garden Grove,
point.
versus Garden Grove.
Non-centralized.
I don't know, my LMI doesn't say that.
No, it doesn't seem-
But.
It is hard to find buildings that meet state requirements. And when EDD is a mandated partner, you do have to find a building that meets most of the requirements.
Yeah.
So Dennis, you're not real happy about that move?
Well,
It's not-
it leaves a big swatch of area from Midway City, Huntington Beach, Seal Beach,
Stanton.
Stanton, Little Saigon. That's not gonna have, and that's a larger population collectively than
From Brea?
Brea. That's not gonna have a hub there, so that's something that EDD, we're looking into. The county as well, I think Francis, they're looking at that.
They may open a satellite office.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, has a lower threshold to meet. So they have to have one centralized area. So Brea is going to become their central one stop, and they may open satellite offices in that part of town. But Anaheim and Santa Ana is gearing up and preparing to serve that community if they come here. But the county also has an RV, which we don't have, and so they
Oh,
may
yeah.
deploy that mobile RV unit.
I think next week we close on the 2nd, so I think that day or the next day they'll have the RV outside the facility.
It's like a year and a half old. It's a new RV that's been retrofitted for a classroom setting.
I was gonna say, do they lease it out for trips?
It's not that kind of
Drive it
RV.
in. A mobile one.
It can sit anywhere, but they're gonna have it in front of the building, is what Francis told me.
Right.
You know, because the building is closed.
So the 3 boards were scheduled to meet in July. We met last week and discussed it. I recommended that we delay it to probably fall to allow the county to settle into the new place as well as their leadership to get their feet on the ground and running again. So you may see a meeting request come out in the fall for us to meet again with David Schinder, talk about the regional local plan, also the more of the branding that's going on with the 3 workforce boards. And then moving forward, because we had planned to meet at least collectively with the 3 boards twice a year, not every 6 months. So that's the latest on that.
David Schinder's a really good facilitator.
He's been around 30, 40 years in the workforce arena, and he's been also good guidance to us as a director, where we can call and say, if I did this, what are the ramifications of that, or why can't I? Or, he'll say, remember this, or remember this law and this rule that I forget. And then also, I guess, staff comments next week. The lease for this facility is on city council's docket. I don't know which item number is, but we did come to an agreement of a 10-year lease with 2 5-year options to stay here. We were able to lower the lease amount, rolled it back by 2 years. Not much, but if I'd negotiated today, I'd probably get a better deal. But 6 months ago, that's what I could get, was rolled back, as well as some improvements of paints and refreshing different things here. We did look at 3 other properties before we selected this one to see our due diligence, and none of them were competitive on price and or the amenities. The safety, I feel safe coming here. I think our clients feel safe. The security guard downstairs is very affable.
And you got a parking attendant.
And we now have a parking attendant. If you've
Versus
been
the
here where
other
we you had to use your cell phone to come into the lot.
Yes, that was our last meeting that way.
It works sometimes.
That was one of our negotiating points, is you had to resolve that, because you would see many people just turn around because they couldn't figure it out. If you're deaf and you have video hearing, you have to turn off your video feature to, there was no text feature.
It was
to it.
complicated.
It was complicated, so there's less arguments outside, and I have validation, so I can validate parking. So that's on the docket, so I'm excited about that.
Any other additional comments from executive committee? So,
Do you think on the lease, do you see any pushback from the council?
I haven't heard any so far. I've been talking to Steven and Mike Garcia. That's their job, to push it over the hump. And they've not heard anything. And we have had tours for council to come and visit.
Have they?
They have. The 2 newer ones have, and I heard the mayor would have to come back. She's come before meetings from a couple of years ago. Ty hasn't made it here yet.
About recalls.
I don't think that's up for her. I don't think they're routing right now.
Santa Ana City Council. Lively. It's lively. I've been a couple of areas. It's lively. Yeah. So.
No comments from staff.
no more comments. That adjourns our meeting. Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank you, Daisy.